Whoa, what's going on, everybody? This is it. This is the new night and time of the ECS Hangout. I hope everybody is ready to hang out tonight. This is the hangout of all hangouts, all about cars, all about shops, all about racing, all about everything. And we have this now every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. So if you haven't changed your schedule, it is time to change your schedule over to the new time and be ready to check us out here. You can check us out on Facebook, IG, YouTube, Twitter. I'm running out of spots. I think we're actually multicasting on different areas too. So there's no telling where you might find this at, but check us out all over. And as always, remember, we're sponsored by Control Freak at controlfreakcompany.com. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, whatever the follow things is, wherever you're at. Make sure you don't miss anything. And again, like I said, every Wednesday at 7, new time. So, all right. So we have a crew of cool people here that it's not their first time out. As always, I am your moderator or whatever you were going to call it here. I gotta figure out a title for myself here.
Liberator of the oppressed.
I like that. That's good.
Primo with the most.
The premostest with the mostest. I don't know. We'll really have to work on it. And as always, down at my lower right over here is Reggie, the owner of ECS Magazine and the Lord of this show, who has brought it to us. He is responsible for all the cool things that you're seeing right now. Don't forget to wave, Reggie. There you go. Perfect. Okay, Joel, introduce yourself, buddy, and tell everybody what you're all about.
My name is Joel Chappell. I run NewEnglandAutoShows.com, which is an attempt at listing as many of the auto shows and car shows and cruises that happen within the New England area. And I try to go to them and take pictures and share those images with the masses.
That's right. As Darren Gilbert says, thinking outside the box. I think we've done that in the past. So yeah, being car creators, I think we've taken some time to go some different rates. So that's worked.
I don't even like going inside the box. So.
Right, exactly. Last but not least, you're going to introduce yourself down there, buddy?
Guys, I'm Sergio Souza. I'm the editor for Swift Car Club. I've been in it, I was about 16 years old.
Now it starts breaking up on you.
Yeah.
You were doing, Serge, you were doing so good, buddy. And all of a sudden, right when you started talking was exactly when everything broke up. So how's everybody doing today?
Good.
Reasonably indecent.
I like that. That works. Well, tonight's show, we were going to be talking about, and we remember this is something, it's open conversation. It's not something where it's just a questions and answers. I hope everybody can banter among themselves and talk about all the various topics. Most of the times with these topics, they go all over the place, and that's okay. So yeah, that's the thing is we're going to talk about kind of like what makes your custom ride unique. But I also just thought about what makes custom rides unique in general. A lot of times today, we've seen, especially after the post Fast and Furious, that a lot of people say, I want to have a black car or a white car or a very simple gray car. It's a lot of these simplistic colors, not a lot of aftermarket work on it. So that's the thing is I want to find out what today is, what's making the current car scene kind of unique and different, what's drawing people in. There's a lot of different things that can come off of that topic. So who wants to go first on talking about not only just what maybe what their car is, but what makes cars in general?
In vaccine, I've noticed lately that space, right? So, for example, I've seen guys setups on roll cage. I think that's pretty neat. Mini truck technology. Recently, had a show just that I sat in the back of a car.
Real bad,
brother. How many guys?
Well,
I don't get why I got no. I tried. Yeah. I'll see. Yeah.
And it was working so well before too. So it was like it kind of bugs me.
We went live.
Like, second we went live was when it kind of looked around. Thanks, bud. Joel, you up next, buddy? You want to try?
I guess I am. Personally, I think what makes it unique to our own selves is kind of subjective, right? and like with my two different and separate rides, where I have a Jeep and then I have the Corvette. One of the core pieces that I'm really, really proud of on the Corvette is I had a set of C5 wheels, and I have a C4, but I had the C5 wheels custom powder coated to black with a red accent on it. And then I had a good friend of mine, Travis Dial, Diley, I'm sorry. He actually did, he took off the C5 logo on the center caps and then put the C4 logo in the middle. So like, those are like little stuff that maybe like the average person wouldn't really notice as much as like a person who's like really into Corvettes might go, hey, whoa, those are C5 wheels with that kind of custom accent. Now, I mean, I've also done, seat covers that are slightly different. So in the interior, I think, I think for like many cars to make it, especially into like some of the scenes or the different scenes, is like, if you want to make it unique, there's three aspects that you cover. You got to cover your exterior, you got to cover your interior, and you got to be wired for sound. I think those are like the three primary areas that, and if you focus on one of them, that's good. But I think if you get two out of the three, that's better. If you got all three, I think if you get all three, then you have probably some kind of trophy winning car. With the Jeep, it's lifted. It's got they're not necessary. I mean, they're custom wheels, but I mean they're off the shelf wheels. But I did have the same person who did my center caps. He actually created decals for it because I did name my Jeep. His name is Winston. So I have the Winston logo on, on the front kind of thing.
As in the cigarettes?
No, it's actually Winston the Ogre from the movie Time Bandits.
Oh,
and the actual lettering is done in the Time Bandits font from the
I haven't seen that movie in like 100 years.
I know, and it's funny because I was trying to figure out like a good theme of / name for the Jeep. And I kind of stumbled on it like quite by accident, and it was only because I was actually watching a Monty Python, and that kind of like made me remember, because the Time Bandits had a lot of the members of Monty Python in it type thing, and it just worked out well. I mean, there's people that can like argue the fact that if you don't have a vanity plate, you're not even trying, kind of thing. But I don't think that's absolutely necessary.
Well, that's the thing is I think a lot of people do have vanity plates. I don't think, and that's the thing is it's really a northern tradition. I think there's other places that really go
I've
well
actually
with
said that, like, I think New Hampshire probably has the highest vanity plate per capita.
It's New England in general, from what my last study was. Anything in New England, so New York, and even counts New York. So New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, per capita everywhere. You're going to see more vanity plates in the Northeast, but that doesn't mean that they're not every place else. A lot of places like, and we still like them up here, is those plates that are specific, like the sports plates. Or the one that's like helping kids. That's the one we got. But yeah, that's the thing is I think that a lot of vanity plates aren't very unique from standpoint of saying they're unique with the name, but I think you really have to attach to that name, and I think the car has to wear it to make it look. One of the things that I've been asking about recently is, so wide body kits, are they still a unique thing? In other words, if you make your car wider and stancer, or do you think it's overdone?
So Reggie may agree or disagree with this, but I think any kind of like wide body kit kind of goes with that 3, where if you're doing the exterior, if you're focusing on a wide body kit, that's your exterior, type of thing. I don't think wide body is like a specific category to make it unique. I think as long as like any kind of wide body application, I don't think honestly, I don't think a wide body kit can. It's hard to do it bad. We've seen it done bad, but it for whatever reason, it always makes a car look cool for whatever reason, or even a truck look cool when you do it on the front.
Yeah.
I think like way back in the day, like Reggie, correct me if I'm wrong. I think like the first wide body kits that I ever saw like on a mini truck were like Chevy Loves. Am I wrong on that?
It good dates back to the Chevy Loves, the old Datsun seat.
Yeah.
The cool looking old mini trucks, and they're making a comeback down south, by the way.
Right.
Big time. They really are. The old school mini truck style from the 70s, 80s style is actually making a comeback.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I've always had like a very soft spot for the Chevy Love. I don't know why. It could be because my cousin had one, and I thought it was just so cool. And he had like the fender flares on it that a lot of people were adding at that time, because that was like the very period thing to do for those smaller trucks at the time. But yeah, I don't think, like I said, I don't think like a wide body is specifically unique. It depends on the application, certainly, kind of thing. But
I think a lot of people have gotten tired of the kind of riveted wide body look.
Yeah, I think to a certain point. I mean, I still dig it on certain applications. I personally, if I was going to do it, especially to like a Corvette or something like that, that's not the style that I would do. I would probably do like an actual integration into the body, the existing body kind of thing, or like a seamless transition.
I think that's super unique. So I've only seen very, very few cars that have extended bodies that those bodies are molded in. So that's their part. And
unfortunately, like sometimes when they are done, they're done badly. Like, they're done with, like lots of Bondo. And
I was going to say, I had a friend that did his, and it was done so well that when they went to the car show, they thought that it was a stock, like a Hellcat setup. And then said, well, it looks completely stock. You have a stock color. You don't have anything special about it. And that made the car lose in the competition.
I mean,
and they came back later and they're like, the judge, and they were like, how'd you not see that? How did you not know this car is like the wheels are big enough to hold beer cans and you're missing it,
I mean, I'll be brutally honest. I was not a big newer model like Hellcat fan per se. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the horsepower numbers that it puts out, but it wasn't one of those. I would purposely drop money to get that car kind of thing. But when they came out with the wide body edition of that car, I really genuinely noticed it, and it genuinely kind of made me go, that is a look that I could definitely invest in. And I would certainly I'd be hard pressed to, if somebody gave me $1 million to, or I won the lottery, I can't say that I wouldn't have a wide body Mopar in the barn, in one of the barns that I would have that would have many cars. At that point, if I won that kind of money, kind of thing. So I think there's certainly something to be said for the look, absolutely. But then that's when a wide body kit doesn't apply to a hot rod.
I would beg to differ on that. I think there's a lot of cars out there that you can wide.
I think it would be hard to do a wide body kit on a Model A Ford. I mean, you could certainly
you'd be amazed.
But I mean, like in a wide body that where we're thinking of I'm thinking of like a Pantera or like a Ferrari or even like a Lamborghini.
I've seen one of my favorite ones to this day. And it ended up being a kit car, but the guy took a Countach and he took the wide, how the wide slopes come off the sides, and he capped them off longer and put these. It was so weird looking, but it was easily one of the most unique vehicles I'd ever seen in my life. And nobody's done anything like that.
Yeah, I think you had that featured on one of the other shows, kind of thing. So, and that was absolutely a very unique look, I mean, I don't think wide body is like specific, kind of thing. I think it's definitely like it's an applied exterior customization that and custom exteriors can be like varied, like so that, and each one of them unique. Whether
I think a lot of times with this stuff, it does come down to the challenge of it. So there really is, once you go outside the box, which you were saying it before, is a lot of people that are not, they don't feel comfortable getting outside that box. In other words, remember when camber was a brand new thing and so many people hated it, but so many guys used it to become Instagram famous, if you will. So they'd go out and do their camber thing. They do a nice little wide body. They'd use the rivet wide body kits or whatever. Yep. Then they make special bars and things like that, one-off things that were specifically for their vehicle. And that's what made them special, was because nobody else was using them. It obviously got to the point of every extreme becomes too extreme. So you got things that are like, wheels that look like wings instead of wheels. But
I always likened it to somebody who grew up with a Hot Wheels car that was stepped on.
Yeah, right. But that was the thing is they made them. That was the thing, is they look like Hot Wheels cars. And I think that's one thing, Reggie, this is one thing I like talking to you about is the trucking scene. There's a lot of the trucks, especially like some of the cover stuff that we've seen on the magazine, that have been incredible when it comes to how they sit, how they're on the ground, the colors and variations of them. I mean, go into a little bit of that about some of the stuff that they do and things that make them unique.
Well, there's a lot because we cover so much, but the mini trucking world down there and all over the country on, the lowriders and stuff, they're all different. I mean, that's why I like one of the mini truckers or some of the lowrider guys to come in here, to go more into detail about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's
I'm just being, because
yep, go ahead.
No, that's why I was, trying to get some of the guys that promotes these major shows and some, that builds these beautiful rides and everything to come in and chat with us about like this on Wednesday night.
Right. Yeah, and I think that was it too, is that they have a lot of, that's, I think what's important here is each of these different things bring something to the table that I think other people can learn from, like, especially when it comes to the use of hydraulics and airbags. Like, we're seeing a lot more of the lowrider stuff move over to the airbag world. And that's brought different things in about how they can, versus new luxury versus old luxury, different things that they can do and be creative with their designs. I think some of them actually have been using kind of camber setups and going different routes to see what works and what doesn't. And that's the beauty of the unique world, is taking things outside of that context and going in different directions. I remember the old, like the 100-spoke wheels. Those are huge. I love them. They can work on certain cars like the Donks and the Bubbles per se, or if the Capris, that kind of thing. But then you get them too far out in one direction and they kind of choke. Like, they don't work on certain cars. If like you get over something that has to need like a 19 or 20 inch wheel, may not work so much for the spokes, but the big ones, sometimes they still can roll them and they look really good. Or is it, you know what I mean? Should they use a different kind of wheel? That's all different uniqueness that's going to put them out in the open that other people really haven't thought about. Have you seen many Capri wide bodies? I doubt you've seen any of those. You know what I mean? So what is really, what's going to be the next big thing? What's going to be you know what I mean? There's got to be something out there that's somebody hasn't thought of that is going to just take the world by storm. And I don't think it's just going to be electric. I don't think it's going to be, electric or hydrogen. I'm sure there's going to be somebody that builds a specific car, but those cars are at price points of exotics and supercars or super luxury cars. It's like, you're going to buy a car like that, you're not going to do anything to it. You don't want to tear it apart.
Well, I mean, and like, isn't it weird though? Because like there's been many trends that we've all witnessed, and you spoke about the 100-spoke, and then it was, recently it seemed like everybody who was anybody was sticking an LS into something, right? And then it, but then we kind of went through this whole stage where rat rods kind of like became a much bigger thing than I think they were for like a while. And it's funny too, because some of the trends like I resisted kind of digging into, and I like it kind of was the like, who cares like what you're going to put an LS into, like it's a standalone, you can get a standalone kit and you can pretty much put it in anything. Is it really a challenge? Well, it turns out for a lot of cars it kind of is. And then I honestly was a little bit resistant of the whole rat rods when they started coming out and became more universally accepted kind of thing. But then you really start, when you start looking closely at them and some of the many intricate details that are unique to each of those builds, that changed my entire outlook of that genre kind of thing. So yeah, as to what's next, I mean, yeah, we went through, like, we could argue the whole case of like Fast and Furious kind of bringing the JDM market in, into much broader reach. I would argue it's a little bit more generational than anything else. But I think Fast and Furious definitely helped, bringing that like as
that's the other problem. We don't have a lot of catalysts out there. That's the thing.
Well,
it's going to be community driven.
Honestly, like I think for like our generation, the catalyst was Smokey and the Bandit and Cannonball Run, right?
Yeah.
Those were like the supreme catalyst, at least for me, becoming like extremely interested in cars. And then like you could argue that maybe Knight Rider was a little bit, but
that was the thing is we continue to have stuff. So it wasn't just so let's say we started off on Gone in 60 Seconds, and then came Cannonball Run, and then came
I mean, you could even argue going back as far as Bullet, and
right now we've got movies like Bullet. We've added in the A-Team, Knight Rider, the DeLorean from
Back to the Future.
Yeah. Now we've got this constant influx of these cars. So when I think that's really what powered the 90s. Like when the 90s came out, it was a battle for manufacturers to be able to see who could keep up. That was, I think, the ZR1 for Corvette, the Dodge Stealth, the Mitsubishi DSM craze started, I want to say 89, 90. The 3S GT
3000 GT, right? That was like everybody wanted one when those things came out. And
the legendary 3S GTE from Toyota. Now that's becoming, you know what I mean? And then suddenly it was everybody wanted. Now the big legendary LSs are coming into play, and now everybody's starting it. If it doesn't fit it, let's put an LS in it, and just that'll solve the problem.
Could we argue maybe a little bit of like I don't know about you folks are seeing it, but I'm starting to see it a lot more. I'm starting to see these imported miniature, like Honda Acti trucks and the Suzuki vans. It seems like I've seen like a couple show up at the Target show that I normally go to. I think there's even a YouTuber, or a couple of them that are actually located in New Hampshire who have actually put LS motors into them, type of thing. So, I mean, I don't know that that's like the next biggest craze kind of thing, but I got to be honest with you. Like, I've actually found the website where you can import one, and I kind of keep going, oh boy, wouldn't it be cool to like,
if you want to know,
cool to import like a miniature van and do like an A-Team tribute van that's miniature.
Yeah, look up. If you look up Derek Griffith with his, he's been racing with NASCAR. But if you look up his thing, all it is old school JDM vans, or all this other stuff that's coming in, all different mini trucks that they bring in, and all that stuff is big right now because it's that 25-year plus thing, and a lot of the famous cars. And once you get into one, you're like, well, if he's going to have one, I'm going to have another. You'd be amazed to see the stuff out there. But that brings me to really what I think is going to be the next. Is I see a ton of truck stuff. So everybody's into trucks because a lot of the car stuff got mothballed by the big manufacturers. Not a lot of support from that. And everybody's moving to SUVs. So you even see the after, like I go to exotic shows and I'm seeing 3-4 different brands with with SUVs, like the
Which disgusts me.
Urus and the DBX and stuff like. They're really cool for for SUVs. But then we like the Hummer, the electric Hummer, that's in conversation. So we're seeing a switch over to these big trucks and these big vehicles that are. Hey, it's cool if you can make it work. But the other thing that I see that is huge, and this is every manufacturer is quietly making it happen in the background, is the resurrection of old vehicles, restoring, getting into. I think one of the big things with that is not just saving these old vehicles, because they look and say all these vehicles are soon going to be, they're not going to make anything anymore. The world that we see is not going to be the world that we knew. And a lot of people want to restore it, resurrect it. And that's going to come into, hey, we don't have this engine. What do we use for an engine? And maybe that's the LS. Maybe one of the Audi's engines used to be a big swap engine that didn't get popular in the US, but was very popular.
I've made the argument that I think the next big, I think the next big engine that's going to be thrown into a lot of vehicles is going to be the turbo V6 that Ford has been basically putting into every, in
the Ecotec,
the Ecotec V6. Yeah. I think that's the next customizable. It is starting to get like an aftermarket to it. I think Gas Monkey a while back, they actually took a Pantera and put one in. And made it like pretty insane, and I think that was and they are very much like an LS motor. They're pretty indestructible. They run really well. They pretty much come with a turbo on them that doesn't have a lot of boost to start with, but I think we've proven that you can stick a lot of boost into them and without much modification or damage, kind of thing. So I think. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing like a almost like a resurgence of like the V6, like we saw when like the Buick T-Types and the GNXs came out in the 80s, and even Trans Am had, the Trans Am Indianapolis edition had a turbo V6, or the GTA one kind of thing. So I think as much as everybody wants to say that the internal combustion engine is going away, I think in the custom market, it's not going away certainly anytime soon.
Everybody's fighting to keep one. So that's the thing, is even the manufacturers are they on paper, and people can say I'm wrong about that. I'm fine. If you're in the commentary and you want to say it, put a comment in, please put a comment in. I'd be happy to have a discussion about this as well. But on the face of it, these companies need to, they're going to have to put, I don't even know how to say it other than woke, but that's not true. I think really they are trying to make the moves that they're making, but many of the moves they're making are because they're being legislated to make those moves. So they're making the moves that they're doing, but they also see the writing on the wall, and they see their sales. I mean, look at the new Mustang sales. It did not, I mean, everybody's hyping everything up, and especially when they talk too much about something, there's a problem. When everything is, this is the best sales we've ever had. This is a 200% increase. I was like, yeah, because you've never sold anything like this before. Yeah, sure, you can get a 200% increase on it. But that's the thing is they're in secret. You see them putting the engines in the back. You see them building these aftermarket things that say, hey, if your Dodge truck breaks down, you need that V6 turbo. If you need the V8, if you need whatever it is, we got it. It's available for you. All you need to do is make the body and that's really going to be what the problem will be. It's going to come down to body restorations and be able to keep that on the frame and keeping a solid frame together.
Well, thank God for for the truck industry, what is it, LMC, there's certainly like an aftermarket for getting decent new metal for like a C-body truck, that kind of thing. That's there, right? Mm-hmm.
There's a company, I can't remember the name of it, down there where you can get so much aftermarket for, say, a C10 old box Chevy.
Right.
They can dang near send you the entire truck.
You can almost get the whole truck without the frame, kind of thing. And some cases, I think they even have frames. That so that you can get. And so I would probably go on record to say that I think we're going to start seeing like an influx of way more Ford F-150 customizations let's face it, it's the biggest selling vehicle for at least the past decade. I think it surpasses everything
Right.
in total sales. So it just seems silly to me that that I'm always shocked that I don't see more customized, hot rodded, whatever Ford F-150s out there than
The
we
big
do-
trucks
than-
out
than
there
we
for
do.
events is be amazing. That would be the
Right.
best thing ever.
I think two-wheel drive pick-up trucks that there should be way more of them, and I don't think there's enough. I would love to see more of it.
Can you say? I mean, that's the thing is, remember the big monster truck looking things that used to come around that
Right.
they have the big wheels and the stretch. I want to see side gas tanks.
I mean,
and you know
honestly,
what I mean?
like what did Bigfoot do for the Ford F-150 sales?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Back in the day, kind of thing. I think if there was, it was the best free advertising Ford ever had.
Right.
I think.
Well, I missed. So Kevin Town says, Reggie, what's up, man? In the comments. And we have added somebody else to the chat who is no stranger. You want to say hello, Vinny?
What's going on, guys? How are ya?
What's up with you?
Did
you just get done with your dinner?
Yeah. We went out to eat. The local restaurant was doing a 20% to the softball and the little league in the town and stuff. So
you got me a doggy bag.
Yeah. So we went to support because my daughter's on the softball team. So
yeah, I remember you posting about it. So yeah. How'd they do?
Good, I guess. Oh well, this year the tournament not so good, but there's always next year, right?
Right, exactly.
And now I'm making a coffee because that's the other thing that I love doing. So.
well, we are talking. You know what? Now you're gonna make me want one. We're talking about right now what makes custom rides unique and the different things we've gone over. Wide body restorations, all sorts of different things that we've gone over, and then we're kind of into that area of where people can literally restore vehicles from just the ground up, like. You could just make an old truck. And that really brought me kind of to that next topic. As I said, if we have the stuff out there, there's got to be somebody that can build a frame, that can offer a body, that can offer all the equipment to it, that there's going to come a point if the manufacturers don't make them. What do you guys think about the kit car market?
Yeah, Factory 5's been around for a while. Yep. And they've done pretty well for themselves. There's a guy in the club that actually has a Factory 5 33, and the thing's a race car. So
it's awesome. I love that thing.
Yeah. And then you got the other side. I'm forgetting the name of the company, but the guy used to work for Factory 5.
I don't know this.
Smith? Is it Smith? No. It begins with an S, and for some reason I'm drawing a blank here. And he makes kits that you take. I think he started off doing the Volkswagens. You buy like an MK4, I believe, Jetta, and you turn it into a Ute. You get rid of the back seat, everything. The whole kit goes right on. It's a back wall from the back of the front seats.
Wow.
Back. You get rid of the trunk.
The Smith TD. I think I found it.
Is it Smith?
I think it's Smith. Yeah.
It's SMYTH though. Like it's
it's a weird spelling. Yeah.
Yeah. They're based out of the same area as Factory 5. Like I said, the guy used to work for Factory 5.
Yeah, Massachusetts based kit car supplier.
Yep. And they just came out with last year or a couple years ago. They did a Challenger. A Charger. I'm sorry, it's a Charger Ute. So you take a 4-door Charger, you cut the rear 2 doors off, the rear quarters off, the trunk lid, every back window, everything goes.
Oh, you guys got to see this thing.
Yeah, and the guys, the kits are incredible.
Let me see if I can do something real quick here.
Yeah, I got one. I just went to the website too.
Yeah.
And they're not expensive by any means.
Yep.
There's one.
Yeah, there you go.
I wanted to do a TDI Jetta.
That's
one
the one.
for a
Yeah,
while.
that's
But
crazy.
I never got around to it.
And
like
he's
everything else.
he's another guy that's he's in Tiverton, Rhode Island.
Oh, look,
That's
at
where
that.
he's from. Well, that's where he's at now. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, there's other stuff around. I mean, there's obviously companies like Speedway Motors and stuff that have been doing T-bucket kits for God knows how long, since the 80s, probably 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But which is basically what the club is building right now to raffle off in 3 weeks. We're building a kit car.
Yeah.
So, well, I
Can't wait for
shouldn't.
that.
I mean, I say we, but it's more our president. The president of the Creeps it's his project, his thing to do. But we lend a hand when we can.
It's been a team effort. Like, a lot of people have been involved with that, helping him out doing that build and putting in their time to make sure that stuff goes to charity, and like just going to be more stuff that they can put in for charity. The more that goes to the charity is what I mean.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the final for that is going to be at our show on Labor Day weekend at 3:00. I think is when they're pulling that ticket.
Yeah.
So
can't wait.
Yeah. Did you get one?
I haven't gotten one yet.
You
I'm
haven't
gonna get
gotten
one
one
at the. I'm gonna get one at the show. We were
At the show? Yeah.
I saw her at what do you call it? The one with Mark's show. You know what I'm talking about? Viva East.
Oh, Viva.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw her at Viva East. I said, you know what? I'll get my ticket at the next one. And then I saw her go to King of the Hill. So I was like, yeah, it is what it is. But
my dad's been buying one a month for the year and a half so far.
Nice.
I know other people. Like the other night, he took the car out and between the online set, because you can buy them online too, but between the online sales and the show sales, the cruise night that he went to, they sold 52 tickets.
Nice.
Yeah. So
she's got it, man. That's got to be a lot of tickets out there that we
Yeah. We had one guy say he was going to spend $4,000 on. I don't think he ended up doing it, but
yeah,
he was like, "Oh yeah, I got $4,000 set aside to spend on tickets."
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, man. And that's so if anybody doesn't know, that's the Heart Rodders, and their chair. It's basically it's a what do you call it? Is it like a tea bucket? Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
or is
it? I mean, it's a tea bucket without the bed. I mean, they were roadsters, I think technically, but I mean everybody calls it a tea bucket.
Right. But yeah, they're doing that, and it's going to go to Boston Children's Hospital, and it's going to be supporting from the Heart Rodders program. So if you do have a chance to go over to the Heart Rodders website, check it out. It is really cool. If you want to look unique, that is the one to win.
Yeah,
velocity stacks.
That thing's gonna be dangerous to somebody.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's the other thing is everybody that worked on it is quality, top notch. You're gonna get something really cool.
Yep. But again, I mean, we made the frame. The body's a fiberglass kit body.
Yep.
The rear end's out of actually one of my old trucks. It's out of an old F10 I had. I mean, it's all.
I have the video of the first time when it was two metal flames, frame pieces coming together. By the end of the day, I thought it was so crazy. Like, there's no way. Like, the engine showed up, all this stuff showed up. By the end of the day, they had a rolling chassis. It was just and then it ended up getting taken apart, put back together again. Used better equipment that they had in it. Like it came back, and like you said, by the time it was done, the geometry was perfect. Like so much. Into it.
You came out twice, I think, right? Was it twice? Yeah, you've done 2 videos on that car so far.
Yep, and I did. I had her on the show for our car side chat for one of them because
That's right.
Yeah, I wanted to get the word out on it because I thought it was a great charity opportunity, and the more people that got involved with it, the better. It's such an opportunity not only to just have a distinct vehicle, but to put something forward to a charity like they're doing and be able to help so many people in some of the worst parts of their lives, you know what I mean? And know that you actually help somebody. I mean, that if you drive that to any show after you've won it, it's your instant, you know what I mean? That's you're a celebrity. So, and all you
like that, I mean, like back in the 80s when like Coca-Cola was doing like movie car giveaways. Remember? And like you could, specific 12 packs of Coca-Cola, you could possibly win the Batmobile.
Yeah.
From the Michael Keaton one, and then I went crazy. Like, we actually figured out how to feel the correct one because I worked in a grocery store. We actually figured out how to like squeeze the end of a 12 pack to see if we had a possible thing to
win
that might be the winning ticket, and I was trying really hard for Ecto one.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that would have been the one. Like,
Right?
That would have been crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that was kind of like the big thing back in the 80s is like trying to get like a movie car win, contest, type thing that I remember.
But just imagine if like those, like the Hot Rodders are putting the creeps and the Hot Rodders and everything, were putting together that car and their thing, and they were able to get a frame for nothing. If they were able to get all the equipment and everything, like there were so many companies out there that were willing to support, and there were kit car companies and manufacturers that actually remade their old cars.
I mean,
imagine how cool that would be. Just be like, hey, it's a piecemeal car. You just put it together. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, there's a part of me that says that, you can do anything as long as you got a good welder. If you got a quality welder, you can take any frame, anything like that, and either restructure for whatever build you need, type of thing. The real challenge, I think, is getting the body work, and quality body work. And I think Factory 5 has definitely done probably like really good in the kit car market, I think, for having like the best quality body work that's right out of the kit. You have to do a little bit of adjustment, but not as much as certain other kit manufacturers that are out there. I think their attention to detail and quality is like probably the best in certainly maybe not the world, but certainly in America. I think.
And now they got the new truck is the new model is a truck.
The new Baja
truck.
Yeah, the Baja truck. Yeah,
and it's metal. It's not even fiberglass.
Right, and see, that's the thing is like getting I mean, we've all watched the television shows where they do like a custom car in like a week, whatever. But there's something to be said about having like a quality welder and a quality metal fabricator that can get you anywhere that you need to go. Now, if you have like the starting replacement pieces that you could possibly like build around, kind of thing, I think that.
Well, that's so you were saying that the body was more important. For me, it's always the geometry of the frame itself, and I think that's something that's been. I think a lot of people.
Absolutely. I mean, I mean, you need that to put the body panels on top of, right? I mean,
well, it's not about the body panels for me. See, that's the thing is having worked on a drag car, which literally just goes in a straight line, that geometry becomes everything. Every setting you do from the beginning to the end.
Well, I mean, it becomes even more important when you're going around a track. If you're actually cornering, it's even.
Yeah. So the thing is all these cars out there, based on how long they've lasted and their time out there, has really been on engine choice. You don't fix little things in your car. Like I bearings and stuff like that. Like you're going to replace those all the time. But your brakes, the things that you're going to constantly be upkeeping, your engine, which is literally your lifeline to the ground. And even like the big stuff like tires that you're going to think about that people buy daily. A lot of people don't put the thinking into that. And if you put the wrong geometry, the wear pattern on your tires are going to be awful. The body on top today, people are actually printing. Like I have a friend that literally built a body using a mold and filled in the mold and said, "Here you go," and did it in his backyard. Like it's crazy. And you think about that and you go, really, if you just had that architecture, the base architecture. And that means that we'd be going back to old ladder frames if you want to make life easy. So
Yeah.
imagine going back and saying, "Wow, we move forward to all these unibodies." In reality, the toughest stuff we can build is still always that ladder frame chassis, and just saying, "Okay, what do I want to build on the outside?" There was another guy. I cannot, dude, man, Vinny. We got these guys that we know, and I can never remember anybody's freaking name. But he sits there and he's teaching people right now out of college that are going to trade schools how to bang metal, how to form it into different shells, and then weld them together so that he can have a metal truck. And seeing the stuff that these guys get done with, they end up doing stuff that's like these old Rolls Royces that were like, imagine like the old metal rolls, like these guys.
Well, that's harkening back to like, you know, the individual one-on-one construction of a Ferrari.
Yeah.
That, kind of thing. And I think there's certainly something to be said about that type of quality construction and attention to detail that happens. And it, you know, I've argued with people about, you know, certain cars that, you know, I've seen that were custom and revered because of the person that did them, kind of thing. And then all of a sudden you get within 10 feet of the car and you're like, why are there all these Bondo cracks? You know, you know, it's not as quality as you're expecting. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it looked great when it rolled out of the shop, but then it's not a daily driver because, you know, to your point, you know, the frame didn't have like a decent suspension that could you know, weather the typical New England street surface.
Any little bump, any little bump you hit, any frost heave or whatever.
And, you know, I mean,
the bumps here is just dragging you into the next.
Well, that's what
lane,
that's what I think killed choppers. Like everybody loved motorcycles, but they wanted the roadster. But they ended up with like, I'm going to buy a chopper. You buy a chopper, and it's like one ride on it, you're like, I cannot feel my butt cheeks anymore.
Right?
Like,
Exactly.
It's a rough drive. It's fun and unique, but
it looks cool. You know, it sounds cool.
So many of my friends drove those for like 3 years, and then they were off them and back to their Harleys or back to their what is it? Is it the Honda one that everybody liked?
The Honda Magna and the Shadow.
Shadow. There was a couple others that kind of just fell in.
And the VTX 1500.
So I'm not a bike guy, as you can probably tell. I want to be a bike guy, but
it's like
I was for a little while.
I like doing it. We raced bikes back in '91. We did stuff with a race team, and that was a blast. But after that, it was like too many people, too many accidents with those, man.
It was funny going back to the New England typical road service. I had an argument with a coworker who was very adamant back in the day when the C8 was like first coming out and Corvette was like really kind of like, especially the number two dealer in the United States, which is McMulkin in Nashua, New Hampshire, of all places. They were literally like slashing prices of like leftover C7s. And I was trying like really hard to convince my wife that it would be a good idea to get a base model Corvette that was white with a red interior, and they were literally selling it for $39,000. And my wife was like, "No, you can't finance a toy." And and when I told my coworker about this, and he says, "Why wouldn't you get a Grand Sport? Why wouldn't you get a ZR1?" And I said, "Because I live in New Hampshire."
Right.
Like it, you know, unless I was tracking it every week, then yeah, that's the thing. But I live in New Hampshire, and I'm going to get the softer suspension, so my back isn't going to go WTF. And I'm actually going to enjoy driving the typical New England back road around us, kind of thing. And he ended up getting a Grand Sport, and he goes, "Man, you know, sometimes my back like really hurts at the end of the day." And I said, "Well, yeah, because you got the ZR1 suspension, but you got the base model engine." Yeah. And you know, now you're suffering the consequences because it's, you know, it's built for racing. It's a stiffer ride, and you know, I told you.
But I do think if we're to stick to for the topic that we have for uniqueness, I think funny enough,
But I
with the
digress.
uniqueness that's good. No, that was a great conversation. For the uniqueness that we have, I think what's going to happen is these automakers have moved away from the cars that people want. I think we were spoiled, and let's be honest, we were spoiled. We had cars before. We didn't have to make a car. We had to just take a car and try to perfect the car based the way we want. So we just found the platform that we liked, and then we changed it over. I think in the future, for you, especially for uniqueness, it's going to come to a point where I don't think people can build. I don't think people ever get into the kit car craze. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it's going to be as big as I would like it to be.
Yeah. I think, see, like me and Vinny will go in, we'll disappear in a garage for a year and then show back up with, work on anything. And it's like, and that's the thing is this is what we want. And you're not stopping until we get what we want. But the thing is for me, like, I don't have time to do that. It's going to either have to be something where I said, where I'd have to say, Vinny, can you help me with something and pay him to do it or do something like that. And I think a lot of people are like that. I think what's going to end up happening is as the manufacturers move away from certain cars, there's going to be smaller groups that go into cars. The biggest trick for them is to be able to build these cars to spec that are going to meet within the price points of the people that want to own them. And so you'll end up having your disposable daily driver car and then your cool custom built whatever that you could afford to spend a little bit more on.
But I would argue that my biggest concern is and we mentioned this earlier, is that, we had the catalyst of like sustaining the interest. We don't have the Dukes of Hazzard. We don't have Knight Rider. We don't have like that cool car show that makes kids want
but I think
car anymore.
But right now, I think the reason that people go back, the reason that people are going to the nostalgia of Fast and Furious and Gone in 60 Seconds and Smokey and the Bandit and all that other stuff, I think is because there's a world that doesn't want them to be a part of it. And so I don't think it's going to be. Go ahead, Reggie.
There's a little bit of that. I will give you certainly that there, and we've had you and I have had that discussion repeatedly and very passionately, I would say as well, about the exclusionary factor of the generationals of car enthusiasts.
What do you want to say, Reggie?
I wanted to jump in on this conversation because, unfortunately, I do run a print car magazine, and I see different walks of life all over the country.
Yeah.
And I will say, when you're concerned about the future of the custom car world, I have had on the cover and featured some brand new pickup trucks that are completely frame wrapped and dropped to the ground, completely all gutted out. I mean, shows like Texas Metal does that, for example.
Right.
Like you see,
has been around for a long time. Those guys do some killer work.
And also up here, I don't know if Vinny's seen this. I know Alan's seen it, or pretty much seen it. That there's people that's building racing Teslas. There's people bagging Teslas. It's almost every type of, like, a new Subaru comes out. Some young guy takes it and builds it up, puts a wide body kit. If they don't have it, they make it. There's a lot of fabrication shops coming out of nowhere, all over the place. I get hit up by people that talk to fabrication shops that if you can't buy it, they'll make it for you.
Yeah.
There's shops that doing just carbon fiber. There's shops that doing just fiberglass work. There's a company down there, I can't remember the name of it, that just started making old body kits for the earlier days of the mini trucks and stuff. So another thing, you got the new stuff that's being built, and you even have the old stuff that's coming back. I mean, the old school mini truck style down there and the old school traditional lowriders are coming back down there. So you got
my old Style and Concepts catalog.
Yeah, you got the modern cars that are people. What it is, the crave down in the South around Texas and Oklahoma and Florida is when it first comes out, they want to be the first one to build it.
Yep.
Like there's a truck in the car shows down there. It's actually a new Maverick pickup truck that's already dropped and got airbrush graphics on and everything.
Yeah. But do you think there's like a future for like I Alan brought it up before. I think there needs to be like some kind of frame whether it be like frame restoration or frame recreation.
Well, when it comes to the mini truck scenes and a lot of lowriders, and Vinny knows what I'm talking about. A lot of people that find an old body, if they're damn good welders or they're good fabricators, they take the body off and they build a new chassis to put that body onto.
Right. But I almost wonder if there is a market for, like, basically a frame company. You know what I mean? Like a company that like somehow
they're already out there.
I mean, and maybe they are, type of thing. But I think they need to be advertised a little bit better.
Well, that's the problem with us especially in the car world. We suck at marketing. We always and the other thing too is we're still looking at we had this discussion before. We're still looking at old school marketing. We want to market by word of mouth or going out to car shows. And you know what? Here's the thing I'm going to add to this, because it's something that I can't believe I didn't think of it before, because you were like, well, we don't have the Fast and Furious. We don't have but we have 1,000 YouTube channels right now. Those movie things and all those things that we used to have before are dead. Now, if you go on Power Motor TV, there's new catalysts, there's YouTube channels, there's reality shows where there's reality competitions. And the other thing is, if you think about it, racing right now has never been better. If you think we have GT racing, we have IMSA, we have NASCAR, we have still F1 Indy, and then you can add in all the different types of drifts and drag and stuff like that. That's really gaining in traction and popularity, because we have an internet where it says, you know what, if you're a drag guy and you only want to see drag racing, here's our drag channel. And then the problem is our algorithm is never known to shove that stuff to us, so that we just say, hey, you know what, I like this. Let me go search for it. And now all that stuff is still getting inundated in it. That's why I was like, the market for demand for certain cars will always still be there, because those cars will still be out there racing until you make them stop racing. And the old homage, if you win on Sunday, you sell on Monday, is still prevalent. And if they can't go to a shop and buy it, they're going to make it. You can't stop these guys.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the reality.
You shouldn't have to.
Right.
Well, a lot of people do want to stop them, and that's what I hate.
Yeah, I know. But what's the old saying? Racing started when Henry Ford made car number 2 or something like that.
Exactly.
Isn't that
that's the one.
And that's it is like very true. I think. But Alan, I think you hit like a like an amazing epiphany, for me, like, not even like thinking of that, even though I knew it, in my head, I knew. I've even shared a few of like my favorite YouTube channels that are like car related. And I agree, because there's even, kids that I've like, met who like have even seen like some of the ones that I like love like immensely. And I think that does like carry a lot more weight than I think I initially gave it credit for. As much as like we kind of like make fun of I would dare say I would call it the YouTube generation. We kind of want to make fun of that, because we're that generation of where we grew up with Motor Week on public television. For finding out like our current automotive news type of thing. I think I don't think we give some of these YouTubers the credit that they deserve, even though we're following their channels, and even though we're watching them like at least like 3 times a week kind of thing. So I think there's something to be said about that. That is definitely endearing a future generation of car enthusiasts.
Well, here's the thing that I want to add too, is you always wondered why I went to all these different shops and said, why don't you have a YouTube? Why don't you have an Instagram? Why don't you have this? All the guys that were good guys, that were popular, all the people that we wanted to succeed, that really like, and 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work for me. I go out there and I show them how to do it, or I do whatever. And they're more focused on other things. And accounting is a big part of that.
Well,
and they'll beg later for somebody to say, hey, do you have somebody that can film this for you? And I tell them, I say, don't go outside and get somebody who's not passionate about it. Go inside your own business. Find somebody who's passionate. I'll bet you money that you already, if you're a business out there, trust me, there's somebody that's in your business right now that already promotes your business better than anybody else, and you've paid zero advertising on them. The best you could do is give them a job and say, for every hit, every like, every whatever that you put for us, it represents something. It represents $1. Imagine if you paid, if you had a guy that worked at your business that you could do turnover with, and you said you paid him $1 and he could get 2 million people to like your channel. I don't know, maybe it's worth $1 million to you, because most companies, that's how they get rich. That's how they get huge. You want to sell 1 million frames, have 1 million likes and followers, right? So that's the thing is feed these guys and pay them the right stuff, and get the guys that are already passionate. Don't find marketing companies. They keep sending it to marketing companies who wouldn't know how to market a car if it ran them over on $4.95. Like, and
it's so funny. Like even with my like website, like how many marketing companies that go through my contact page saying,
we'll got the solution.
We'll get you 1 billion views, and I'm like, no, you won't.
Yeah.
Advertise no idea. You have no idea who my market is. You have no idea who my fans are, kind of thing. You don't understand.
Yep.
And maybe there is a marketing company out there that does understand it, but they certainly haven't come in through my inbox.
Well, it's because I'll tell you where they are. And funny enough, it's those, and people are going to laugh at me at this, it's those clout chasers, the guys that are out there right now. And I have a friend right now. It's so funny. He had his car. He's doing his car. He's getting 100,000 followers for a stupid car. I'm like, you're not making a dime off of this. I said, do something. So he opens up a cleaning business and a detail business out of it. And I was like, imagine if he could turn that into a detail business. Now he's got that continued ability to generate followers. He gets another 500,000 followers. Hey, I've got a new cleaning solution I'd like to sell you. This is what I clean my car with. Don't think that at least 500,000 viewers, 50,000 people are going to buy that product day one. Guaranteed. Yeah. The other guys over there did their exotic group. They had enough people support them off of their first show. They sold like $3,000 worth of stuff, and it was so much extra money. They gave all the money to charity. Yeah. Like it's a win-win, but we have to learn to use the resources that we have. And like I said, hand it to the people that are actually like, stop looking at these people as a negative and start seeing the opportunity. I always joke about the guy that there's two salespeople. They sell shoes. They go down to this remote island nation, and the guys go there, and he goes, I'm going to sell Nikes or whatever. And he goes, I'm selling these shoes. And the first guy goes there, and he looks over at the tribal lord, and he goes, nobody's wearing shoes. He goes, well, we don't wear shoes here. So the first marketing guy runs back to the base. He calls back the base, and he goes, man, that's it. I'm pulling out. It's the worst thing ever. He goes, nobody down here wears shoes. We're out, right? The second salesperson goes down, sees all the guys. He goes, the chieftain goes, we don't wear shoes. And the guy goes, I'll be right back. He goes back and he calls his boss, and he goes, dude, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. We're going to be rich. Nobody has shoes here, and we have shoes.
Yep. I've heard that before.
We're looking at all these opportunities. We're saying we're only going to do flyers on cars. We're only going to do word of mouth. We're only going to do this stuff. And it's funny because I got to give you, what's his name? I got to get your email address for what's his name later, because that email came up the other day that most of us are old school. No, we're not old school. We're choosing to not evolve. The thing is the time that you start dying is the time that you stop trying to live.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Go out there and allow your brain to evolve, get bigger, look at options, stop being stuck in the box. And then we'll find that next unique. We'll find that new thing. Hey, you know what? I'm not going to buy that car because it's too new. Okay, well, now these other guys are going to do it. They're going to leave you behind. So whatever you want to do. And by the way, ECS Magazine has some awesome shirts that look like the one down there on Reggie's screen right now that are available for you at any time you'd like. So if you want to look like one of the cool new updated people, that's what I'm saying. So, all right, we're at 104.
I'm Reggie.
And what's Reggie? Good. There you go.
I'm Reggie. This is how Reggie looks through the camera.
Oh my God.
We got to get him glasses. There you go. We'll get. Hey, look, he's got his glasses. We got to get Vinny some shades now, so we'll be perfect.
Damn.
All right, guys. So yeah, it's 105. It's the first time out Wednesday night. We'll let you guys get used to it. Remember, this video is going to be up and available for you. Make sure you put something in the comments. We're going to follow everything. We'll make sure we'll respond to anything that you have out there. If you have any ideas for the show, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you run a show, if you're a show promoter, if you have a magazine, if you have anything that's related to vehicles, get in touch with my boy Reggie here. He's going to make sure that you get a spot on the show, and we'll have a topic that we can all talk about. We'll bring some guests on. Joel will mess with you and make sure that you have the worst time ever. Vinny will make sure that Reggie has the worst time ever, and then I'll hopefully fix everything so we'll be enough of a good show.
There you go.
No kidding, but no, it'll be a great show. It's like everything we have here. We have a great group of guys, wonderful people here, and we always love having you guys on. So I want to thank first Reggie of ECS Magazine for putting everything together. Joel Chappell of New England Auto Shows.com for promoting all the great events he has out there. Serge for giving us a chance to come out and try, buddy. I really appreciate you coming out. He worked well until he started talking, and then the internet crashed. And also Vinny out of the Creeps, who will continue to go. Oh, and what was the other thing that you do over there? You have your IG or your. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's not live yet, but Life in the Passenger Seat.
Yeah, Life in the Passenger Seat. So not out yet, but keep an eye. We're gonna make sure that when Life of the Passenger Seat comes on, we're gonna have Vinny back on too, and he'll be on all the time. But when he comes on, he'll be on to let you know exactly where to go to see that. If not, just keep looking.
I'm gonna be his first guest. He's gonna take me around.
No.
So that means I'm second. Or are we doing it at the same time?
So actually, let's talk about that a little bit. Is that the concept? Is that you'll have guests in the passenger seat and start interviewing? I actually love this guy. It's almost like comedians in cars getting coffee, but with car guys. And I think
so much better.
Good, Denny. Yeah, do that.
What's that? I can't understand you, Reggie. You got to speak English.
Right.
I got that. I understood that.
He did Mecca High, Mecca High.
Yeah.
That's the one, right?
I think, Vinny, what you ought to do is you ought to. That just sounds stupid, but record an interview driving around the vehicle or sitting in the parking lot.
I think that would be great.
I'm not sitting in the parking lot. That's just weird, but I'll drive around with him. Like, which parking lot are we sitting in? And people coming up to the car asking for money or something, or what's going on?
Come on.
What's those two guys in that car with the film camera over there? Like, not doing that.
Can't see out.
Hey, but real quick,
it's all fogged up. What's up with that?
Oh, jeez.
But real quick, the Hangout's not the only thing that's going to be on YouTube over at ECS Magazine. I haven't talked to none of y'all because this is a separate thing on the channel, but on the channel, I am planning to do something similar to that, most likely starting with the lowrider picnic, where that I'm gonna go to.
Good.
And what I'm hoping is it's gonna actually encourage my other photographers to do the same thing too.
Cool.
Even if not just ride around, but just sitting their car and ask them about their vehicle, just something different.
Yep. My dream down the road, folks, is really to have a channel that you just tune on the channel, and it's just all the stuff from all this that's out there. So if I get my dream, we'll be good. So,
and if I can make it your show, Vinny, we'll do the same thing as yours too.
Yeah.
That'd be dope. But that'd be like a single interview. Won't have all this chat thing on it, or won't have Hangout and just have the magazine name. It's just something different.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's called content, my brother. It's called content.
Contente.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Content on the ECS YouTube.
Awesome. All right, guys. So if you guys everybody's all good for tonight. Reggie, you good?
I wanted more people, but
That's
we're
okay. We'll get better internet connections for them in the future, and they'll be back. So,
right.
But remember, new night and time, Wednesday, 7 p.m. every Wednesday. Don't miss it. ECS Hangout. You can see us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, any place that we're out there. You can see us on it. Make sure you're there. If you're about cars, this is the place for you. We'll see you next time. Don't miss out. Talk to you then.
Cheers.